Hey Trader Nation, welcome back to Trader Talk here with myself. We're going to be going over some charts. Just give me a minute to get this link out to everyone. All right, guys, we've got that link out. So now we will be going over a few charts. We'll go over a few charts that we see. We've got this one moving IMPL. It was all over the bullish momentum scanner, all over the volume scanner. So we'll take a look at this one. It's a cheapo. I do prefer stocks over $1 myself, at least, but really preferably over $2. But we'll take a look at it. We've got some key levels here that it needs to hold if we're going to see continuation. So let me get the chat up so that way I'll be in the chat as well. So you guys can feel free to ask questions and send in tickers, and I'll go over charts and we'll go over the scanners as well. Also, we're going to go over in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up, how you can set up multiple custom scans right here in TradingView as well, which is really cool. And maybe we'll take a look in Benzinga to see if we can replicate that. So let me get the chat up. So I'll be in the chat. If you guys are here from Discord or here from Benzinga or here from wherever, throw a hey in the chat so I can see you. I'm gonna get my chat up now. I'm not in yet. All right. So there we go. Hey all. So right now we've got a chart up. I'm using TradingView for my charting platform. That's what I typically use for all charting. What I love about TradingView is it's really handy. If I want to put on an alert here, say I want to watch this key level right here, I can just right click, add alert, and there we go. We just create it and we're good to go. So now anytime the price reaches that price level, I'll get that alert, and I've got it sent to my phone as well. So if I'm not in the office, I can get these alerts and really make sure that I don't miss out on opportunities. Now, one thing I would recommend if you're not used to setting alerts is make sure you set multiple alerts or just set it below the level. So if you're trading key levels and 98 cents or even $1, right, just $1 mental level is maybe that key level for you, then we want to see that it gets up to that level, closes over and holds. But if we see that IMPL, as we can see, it just came back down, did not hold that level. So $1 was the key level. So as we approach that level, we want to make sure that we have volume as well. This is a cheapo, so it's going to be a little bit different. We've got some key levels here, 111, 120, 126. But make sure you're setting your alerts right around those key levels. So if we're trading around the $1 or the 111, what I'd recommend is just setting those key levels or alerts below those key levels. So just reset and add alert here and create. And you can adjust and move these anywhere you want on the chart. So I can move it up to there. The reason we set them before that key level is important. It is because we want to assess this condition before we get into it. So, if I'm willing to throw maybe 5,000 shares, 10,000 shares at, this order here, well, I want to make sure that I'm assessing the conditions beforehand. So if we just set our one alert just up here at the key level, I'll delete this one. We just had that one alert. Then the problem is that we're being alerted right at that level we're looking to trade, and we're going to be a little flustered when we're trying to make our trade there, our order. So set the alerts below the level. That's just a quick tip. I'm sure a lot of you already know that, but if you didn't know that, that's just something that I do. So key levels that we have here, right? We've got 111, 120, 126, and I'm sure you're wondering what these colors are on the chart. So these are different time frames that I use to mark these key levels. And what each one of these levels is to me is really it's bag holders. So whenever you hear someone's holding bags, and I'm sure we've all been there. I've held bags plenty in the past myself in the beginning of my trading. Holding those bags, that's where they're sitting. So what we're trying to do is depict where that resistance is going to show its face, where it's going to show itself, right? So as we approach that key level, right? So 111 is that key level. As we approach that level, we're anticipating that we may see some pressure. So me as a day trader, what I do is I use these key levels to aid me in entry and aid me in exit. So if I'm getting in over the 98 cents and the dollar mark, then I'm looking for it to hold that level and get up to this next level as a possible target. Now, if we close below, that's it. That's all she wrote. I've got to bail. That's my strategy. Now, there's multiple different strategies out there for trading, but I will say this, that most strategies that you'll read about, most strategy that you'll look up and see on YouTube and everything else, they're not geared towards low float trading. A lot of strategy is not geared towards low float trading. And so low float trading here, and you can see this, the share float here is 7 million share float on the side in TradingView. This means that this is a low float name. So, when you're drawing trend lines and things like that, it's not necessarily going to really hold up. It's things like trend lines and VWAP and whatever, they are helpful. They can be helpful if you find value in those indicators and things. That's great. But most of the information that you're going to find out there on for trading, and especially day trading, is not so much geared towards low float trading. So make sure you're aware of that. So what works for some may not work for all, and that goes for stocks and traders alike. So what works for, say SPY or Tesla over here may not work for IMPL. Okay. So one thing we can do is we can assess these key gaps. So if you're marking these charts beforehand, what you can do is then really measure out these moves, right? And you can assess these gaps and say, maybe this gap is attractive and maybe this one or this one is not as attractive. So maybe I want to set my alerts before this gap and I'm not as concerned about the next gap or whatever it may be. So we can take this measuring tool in TradingView, and you can also hold shift, I believe, but this gap right here is 13%. So to be realistic here, we know as day traders, we can't just assume that we're going to get filled right at the bottom at this level and right at the top at this level. So we want to make sure that we are aware of that. So this is a 13% gap. Really, it's more like a 10% gap, 12% gap, right? Somewhere between there. That's still pretty lucrative. That's a nice gap. That's a gap that's, I think, tradable, in other words, right? So looking at these resistance levels that I have, and each one of these, any line, right? And just to keep it simple, any line that I have above my current price, I look at as a resistance. So for me, the way I trade is it needs to close over resistance to basically tell me a story. So IMPL here is talking to me right now. So the chart is just talking to me. And what it's saying is, I'm pretty bearish right now. I'm looking on the weak side. I'm not feeling so hot right now. I'm feeling maybe a little, down and under the weather. But if it closes back over 98 cents, and of course that mental level of $1, right? Because that's going to hold some weight on this cheapo as a resistance level. That's a key level. We can see over here we closed above, we then closed below. That was our signal that this is now bearish. Bearish, bearish, close below. Get out before this move, right? So in order for this story to go in the right direction and for IMPL to recover and close over this level, I need to see that. I need to see pure volume closing over this 98 cent level in $1 mental whole dollar test. If we can see that, then we may have continuation to $1.11, $1.20, and possibly $1.26, and maybe even higher than that as well. We have levels above. So in my experience, guys, in the past, what I used to do as a day trader, and I'm sure everyone can relate, and if you can relate to this, please put it in the chat, here in the YouTube chat. Have you ever sat there just watching the same stock all day long? Has there ever been a time where you just say, you know what? We've got our gap scanner over here. I've got WE. It's on the top of the gap scanner. I'm keeping that one up all day long, looking for that bounce, even though it just continues to fade off. How many traders have done that? I've done that in the past myself, where I'm just glued to a chart just way too long, right? Just way too long. And what's happening there is, you're basically waiting for your setup, waiting for your setup, waiting for your setup. But what's great about setting these alerts, as you can see, we have this alert here, and I can right click anywhere on the screen, add alert, and there we go. So what's great about those alerts is now I don't have to be glued to the screen. So TradingView is awesome about this. I'll now get this alert on here. I can set it up so it's a sound alert. Let me see. I forget. I don't usually have mine play a sound, but I believe you can do that. Notifications, yes. Show pop. We've got it into moving into our Discord as well, and you can see that you can change the settings on this. So you can change it any way you like. I just set the normal alert. That's good enough for me. I get an alert on here. I get an alert on my phone, and it basically just tells me, hey, this thing is near your key level. Do you want to start watching for a possible trade? And sometimes that's when I come running. I'm sure we've all seen that meme of Forrest Gump. And if you've, of course, seen the movie, I come running like Forrest Gump. That's how it is. So if I get those alerts on my phone, I get those alerts and I'm not in the office and I'm not glued to this chart, then I can come running and go ahead and trade what I see, right? So these alerts are great. So if we're looking for a strategy here on low flow trading, this, in my opinion, is the best strategy there is. And this is a very extensive strategy. There's a lot to it, but this is a strategy that I go over every single day in our Discord. And this is something that it's the way I trade. It's where I found my success. So when we're looking at these charts, I have a systematic approach. There's no, thinking about it really anymore. I've eliminated the thinking about it through our guide. So what we're looking for is a clean close over a predetermined resistance. So at this point, that would be this purple line, right? 98 cents. So let's just keep it simple. A candle that closes over this level is bullish. Once it closes over, I can buy. If it doesn't close over, I don't really care about this stock anymore. If it closes over, I can get in. If it closes back below, I get back out. It's really simple, guys. And what I love about this simple strategy is that it helps mitigate risk, because that's what I'm focused on. That's what this strategy is focused on. We're focused on not getting caught in those giant knives, not getting caught in these candles in this downward move and averaging down and holding overnight and thinking, no, you know what? I really love the news on this stock. I think it's going to continue going up. I think. Well, our opinion just doesn't matter. What matters is the price action, which is these candles, and it's going to be the volume. So, of course, if I turn on this indicator, you'll see that we have a lot of volume. White candles are that breakout type of volume that we're looking for. We can see this thing was just overbought galore, right? We've got short watch, we've got vertical trends, we've got overbought, we've got a red area in the back. We've got all the indicators letting us know, hey, you might want to be careful if you're going long here. So as it closed over here, if I click on this, see this green candle closed over. Yeah, it sure did. And that was our confirmation, but the quality of this confirmation was lower and less than something else, right? This we can see had a vertical trend. We can see it had short watch. We can see it was entering overbought, right? There's so many indicators letting us know, hey, be careful, buddy, because this thing is dangerous. And then all of a sudden it closes over the level and you say, it fails. You say, Bob, what the heck? You said confirmation is the best strategy in the world and it didn't work. Well, these are the conditions that we want to be aware of before we take the trade. So yes, it's confirmation, and yes, it's bullish if it closes above this level, but not all closes are the same. So we want to make sure that we're assessing those key gaps, key levels, and conditions beforehand. And that's why we have the strategy guide, which again, it goes over the 5 major red flags to avoid, which I have a few videos here free on YouTube as well. And I'd love for you guys to check that out if you get a chance. I'll try to add a link into the description below as well after this video. So IMPL, we've got all of the notifications in the world telling us, be careful. This is dangerous. Yes, it's confirmation. Yes, it closed over. Turn these off. It closed over. It had the volume we're looking for, 485,000 shares. So this was bullish. This was confirmation. This is good stuff, right? Take the trade. Well, it closed back below here. So if you got in here, you took yourself a very small loss. If you got filled, you took a 4%, 5% loss at most, 4 cents per share. That is nothing compared to if you were averaging down and you were in from here and all the way down at this level and you had to bear a 26% loss on your position and sit there scratching your head wondering, is this going to curl back up to my level? Well, it really depends, what happens with the price action and volume. But for me, I just don't care. For me, I trade a very strict strategy. I'm very disciplined in my strategy, and that's how I found consistency in my own trading. That's how I found it, was just strict, discipline. I've got a systematic approach here. I stick to the rules and I don't veer off the path. IMPL has to close over 98 cents and $1. That's resistance. Close over resistance is what I'm looking for confirmation. If I get that confirmation, then I can go long. Until then, I just don't care. So I set my alerts and I walk away because I don't want to be glued to this chart all day long. Now I can bounce over to other charts that may be presenting an opportunity throughout the day. So here we've got WE. Let me check the chats, guys. Is everyone following here? What's going on? Clayton, good to see you. I appreciate you joining. D, good to see you again. How's that swing working out? I haven't checked it yet. What was that swing we were talking about the other day? IO and Q, right? I think you mentioned that one, IO and Q. Let me see how it's working out. Oh, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Well, I had a little dip this morning. I guess a little dip from yesterday. Yesterday went up to 2160 though. That's nice. You were calling this one below, I believe below 19, below 18. You were mentioning this one in the chats. So appreciate that, D. I've got no position for myself at this time. These are some of the levels that we have on IO and Q. Let's hop back over to WE. WE. How about this one lately? This one, we had a really nice bounce watch on this one. We had, let me see. We had I believe, a 115 bounce watch. Let me see. If I pull up Benzinga, this is pretty cool too. If you go into Benzinga and you just type in, let's see, WE. There we go. And you can type in authors, names, everything. It's pretty cool. Been messing with this. So WE yesterday, let's see. We had I believe a bounce watch yesterday. There we go. Yeah, look at that. So this is where we had that bounce watch around 12:13 p.m. yesterday. We bounce watch alert. Be careful shorting here. Reference the chart. Price is at $4.15, and it had the volume as well. So this is a really cool alert because what this is doing is letting us know that if you're short on this position, then you want to be careful because it may get a little bounce here. So you might want to cover some of your position. That's how I look at that. And if you're looking for a possible bounce, well, here's your opportunity, right? It's starting to meet our requirements for it to give us those alerts. And this worked out really nice. So as you can see, it completely moved up to 672, guys, from 415 all the way to 672. What a move. And you can see the low down here was 405. Not sure if I can zoom in on that. No, it's the wrong thing. That's pretty impressive. That is really impressive. So let's take a look at this one. What's going on here? Let's turn on the indicator, see if it shows us anything. Yeah, it shows us a little bit. Enters oversold over here, and we got a little bounce from there so far. Enters overbought, little retrace. Enters overbought again with a bullish vertical trend. So we've got some indicators here letting us know that this is dangerous. I've got my custom indicators that I have set up. We've got a short watch on here, and we've got a halt spotter as well. So the halt spotter is this pink line. So we've got 645 to the high side, 533 to the low side. So in other words, if we drops rapidly all the way down to about 525, 530 area, we may see a halt down. And so the reason I like this indicator is because if it starts to really rip up and I want to make sure I lock in profit before that halt level, then that's what I do. So 645, 650 area is probably the halt level to the upside on WE, and we've got some resistance levels here as well. So we've got indicators letting us know this is a short watch, so be careful going long. We can see that we've got this green line. That's resistance right at our $6 level, and $6 is a mental level as well. So, close over $6 is worth watching, but let's zoom out to the left and see a little something. Okay, look at this. So on the left-hand side, we can see if I zoom in over here, we already achieved higher than these levels. That 672 from yesterday's high, that's really where we want it to get up to for bullish momentum. So technically speaking, these levels here have already been used and abused, right? So WE, we want to be careful because what's happening is, these levels have been tested. In other words, they are weakening. They are just getting weaker. Every time you test a key level, it weakens. And if we're looking for that breakout type of strength and move, well, we don't want a weak level, do we? So common sense tells us we want to wait for a key level, and these key levels have already been tested yesterday. So I would assume and say that really it needs to get over the 668, and I'm sure that we probably have that in the Discord. Let me see. So we hop over to Discord, go to the key levels channel. And guys, if you're in Discord, make sure you're setting alerts on all of these key levels. I add these every day in chat. So we was yesterday. Here we go. From yesterday, 8:18 p.m., we've got we close over 668. So set your alert. That's what we're looking for, bullish momentum, right? So if I pull this chart over, we can see we're getting a breakout here. Just filled the gap up to 626. I expect some choppy price action. But as we know, 668 is the key level. And we've got that halt level at 669 now. So WE is moving in the right direction. If I pull over the bullish momentum watch scanner that we have from Trade Ideas, you can see that we is all over this this scanner, right? We. I sound French now, don't I? We can see it's all over the list. And you don't see a whole bunch of other names. We've got FFIE on here. We'll pull that one up in a minute. We don't have a whole bunch of other names. We pull up our high of day scanner. Guess what? We. It's French. It's just completely French today. So if you're in this, awesome. Take some profit. It's hitting target level 626. These are smaller time frame levels. These red resistance lines. These are going to be smaller resistance levels. I don't really like to trade long or buy around these levels as aggressively, but I like to sell into these levels. So if I'm in the position, I like to lock in some profit at those levels. Let me check the chat here. Yeah, D. Nice job on IONQ. Nice IONQ. Nice call out on that one. I appreciate it, Karma. Thank you for joining. So, guys, if you have any tickers, let's go over them. This is the one that's moving right now. So, if we're going to pull up the bullish momentum scanner, this is the one, right? This is the guy. So, we're watching it closely because it's moving in the right direction. So, yes, it's moving in the right direction. Is it bullish momentum? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Is it continuation? No, not necessarily. But why? Because it already achieved these highs. It already hit a high of $6.72. And look at it dropping. Look at this. Do you see what I mean, guys? Do you see what I'm saying here? This is the issue with these type of stocks. These are the low float stocks. And, you know, again, a lot of traders will get caught in something like this. They'll say, you know what? I hate low float stocks. I'm never trading them again. They're impossible. Everyone who trades them is lying and yada, yada, yada. No, that's not the case. The thing is that they're not executing a strategy and staying disciplined. Again, we went over this before, but discipline. If I can't drill that into your head, I don't know what I can do. That's the most key important factor to successful day trading is discipline. If you get caught over trading or you get caught veering off the path of your strategy, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. You can see this candle wicked back up. It wasn't necessarily a major red. If you see those pink candles on my chart, let's zoom out and see if we find any. None. I don't see any on WE right now. There's one over here. There's one from yesterday. If you see that, that's a red flag. This means that there's major reds and something we want to be careful with. Let me get a sip of this vitamin water. So guys, we're hanging out here. This is Trader Talk. I appreciate everyone joining today. If you guys have any tickers you want me to go over, we'll do that. I'm going to go over whatever hits the scans here. We've got some scanners up. I've got the bullish momentum here. It's moving. We've got WE on the board, and we need to see it close over these levels to deem this as bullish. Now, what's cool about this is it closed above, but it filled the gap. Look at that. Closed above, but it filled the gap. We don't want that. We want it to close above just barely or just by a little bit and not fill the gap because that's our resistance. That's our target. If we're getting in here, we're looking at here. If we're getting in here, we're looking at here, right? Makes sense? Very systematic approach. So you got FFIE on the board as well. Let's take a look at that one. Let me take a sip of this vitamin water. We'll take a look at FFIE as well. You know, these type of names are going to be tough, guys, to trade. You know, when this stock already has reached and gapped through these levels, again, every time we test a level, it weakens the level. It no longer holds as much weight. I can't explain that any simpler, I don't think. If we test the level multiple times, it's going to weaken that level. Think of it like a door. You just keep kicking that door. Eventually, that door is just going to kick right down, right? It's going to kick off them hinges, and guess what? You got yourself no longer holding weight, right? So WE, the fact that we've already achieved up to 672, that's the issue here. That's what's going to create some choppy price action. But that being said, it doesn't mean that there's not opportunity, and it doesn't mean it doesn't need to hold this level. It's still the same idea. Every level closes above, it needs to hold that level. Close below is bearish, close above is bullish. If you're scalping, you can do that. If you're looking to hold a longer position, you can do that as well. Same idea, same strategy applies here. It has to hold the level, close below, you can get back out. So say you're in down here, maybe your stop's down here as well. So maybe your stop is below the level you were in. And so you're just holding out, looking for continuation, or maybe you got in even lower because this thing again started down here on a bounce watch. So maybe you, were able to get in early, and you're holding a lot from here. If that's the case, then this price action up here doesn't concern you as much, right? You can always adjust your stop and take profit. So this one is hitting the scanners, WE. I think we have FFIE hitting the scanners as well. How about AXLA? What's this one been doing today? Oh, look at this. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look, we had these levels mapped out too. Let's see. So if we go to Discord, right? If we go over to our Discord, if you guys are in Discord with us, just go to the search and type in AXLA updated. Updated. Take us to the most recent chart. There it is. What do we got for levels here, guys? We've got key levels before this move ever occurred, before it ever happened. We've got 141, 143, 150 mental, 152, 156, 163, 165, 170, 188, 191, right? So 170. Now let me see what we had here. What was the high? 165. Did we have a 165 level? Let me expand this again. We sure did. 165 right there. So again, guys, we have these levels before the move ever occurred, before it ever happened. So we are ready. We're prepared. That's part of our job here in the pre-market session is we look to be prepared. We look to get in and get out at these key levels. Very important is sticking to our strategy. So we can see on AXLA, we needed to close over a certain level. Let's see what that level was. So we'll pull up the Discord. We'll go to the key levels. Look for AXLA. Man, that's a tongue twister. Here it is. 143, 152, 156. Any one of these levels is key. 143 was the first. So 143. Let's see if we had any price action there. So where is the 143? So the 143 is our purple level, purple line right here at the top, okay? So let me put a little price tag on this so you guys can see a little bit better. Price label, there it is. 143. Let me expand that because that's a little tiny, isn't it? Can you guys see that? You guys can see that, right? And I'll put one down here as well. 141. And we've got above at the, let's see, 152. All right, so these are our key levels, right? 143 was the first one. Needs to close above and hold. Well, we had a close above right here. So if I turn off these candles, turn off the indicator here for a minute, you can see it closed above that level. But it didn't hold. It closed back below. That's it. That's our bearish signal. Get back out. And if you did get back out, well, then you avoided this loss. But of course, you could have held, and it could turn back up and go back up. But guys, I've seen more times than not, it continues to go down. So averaging down and holding, just not my strategy. Just doesn't work for me. Can always, again, set these alerts. If we knew this was our key level, just set your alert below the level. As soon as it closes over, well, guess what? It's game time, right? Well, look at this. We went above that level with a giant wick. Let me turn this off. You can see this red wick right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. This wick, this doji, this sword, whatever you want to call this thing, this candle, what it did was had a giant topping tail, rejected that price action above. At what level? $1.52. And what level did we have? $1.52, right on the head. So it's a good idea to lock in some profit at that key level. And again, if you're looking for confirmation, well, you avoided a major loss in a false breakout of these key levels. Why? Because we're looking for a clean close over these levels. Now we filled the gap to 152. So technically speaking, I want to see a close over the 152. But here is our clean close over the 143. Well, guess what? 1 minute later, it held and hit 1, 2, almost 3 targets in one move. And this candle right here was, let's see, if you got in at the top of this close and sold at the top of this move because you're Superman of trading, that's 11%. Now, let's be realistic. We're looking at more like 6 to 8%, right? But 6 to 8% in a minute's time, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that all day long. And we're looking for high probability breakouts and outcomes. And this was a pretty nice setup because it had that 143 key level closed over, held a level, mitigate our loss and our risk here by setting a hard stop. So if we have, let's see, a little rectangle down here, let's set a hard stop if we get in that order, right? Just to protect ourselves. So this is our stop loss area just below where we got in. That's where we got in. So we're willing to risk a little bit, to risk it for the biscuit on this little cheapo here. Well, guess what? You got biscuits. You got biscuits and gravy within, what, 2 minutes later? 1 minute later? Seconds later? you got yourself some biscuits and gravy. And sure enough, this candle closed above this key level here, and guess what? Sure, this is a big, ugly red candle, isn't it? But what did it do? It hit our key level of 165 and 163. So if you got in on this candle here at the close, and you were in here, you got yourself 1, 2 targets in less than a minute's time. That's confirmation. Get in, get green, and get out, or get out of the way. Because what happens with low floats? It closes below. That's all she wrote, and we are now bearish, bearish, bearish. No longer bullish Bob. I mutated into bearish Bill. As soon as we see it close under the 156, that's it. I'm bearish Bill. That's it. And it just fades off to nowhere zone, right? Just continues to fade off. And this is what we were talking about earlier with I believe, might have been Cosm, but I'm not sure. But this is what we're talking about. We don't want to sit here watching this all day. There's so many traders sitting here saying, oh, I'm going to watch this. This thing's going to bounce. This thing's going to turn around. It's going to go. I'm going to watch it, watch it, watch it. Now, you don't have to do that. You can just set alerts. Right click, add alert. There we go. There's one there at that key level. But really, at this point, we've already filled a gap to $1.65. So if we're looking for continuation, we've got to close above that key level of $1.65. So right click up here, add alert, $1.62, create, done. How about down here at 150? I want to see what happens, because what I want to do is I want to assess the price action before I take the trade at my key level. And that gives me an edge as a trader because it gives me a heads up. Again, these alerts gives us a heads up. And again, now I don't have to watch this stock anymore. So AXLA, well, you're dead to me. You are dead to me until you get the volume and get your butt back up over those key levels I need to see you at. And I have alerts, so I don't need to sit there and watch. Now, how about IMPL here? We've got it curling. A lot of traders say, oh, it's curling, it's curling, it's curling. Yeah, it is. It is curling. But I don't personally care about it until it closes over 98 cents and $1, because that's the key level. Close above, then I could go long. And personally, I don't really like this one myself. It's $1, so, it is what it is. But, if you trade cheapos, you like these cheapo stocks and these cheaper names, then maybe this is an idea for you. Close over 98 cents, close over $1. It must hold that level. And this is not A+. This is not an A+ setup. We've got the strategy which goes over A+ setups versus B+ setups versus C+ setups, right? We try to grade each one of these gaps. We try to grade each one of these key levels and continuation moves. We assess the key gaps. We look for volume requirements. We look for managing risk. It's so important. And sometimes we love to leave a lotto because why? Because we like to get those risk it for the biscuit, right? We just saw a risk it for the biscuit there. We saw some gravy. And look, here goes IMPL. Let's see what it does here. We've got 40 seconds. This is live, happening right now. Let me pull over the scanner here. You can see that it's giving us our bullish momentum. IMPL, it's all over the scans. Here we go. Let's see what it does. Did it halt? Looks like it halted. Let me turn on the halt. I didn't turn on the halt. Did I? There we go. Looks like it's halted. No, it didn't halt. It's right at its halt level, I believe. It's right near its halt level right now, 105. This is a cheapo, though, so they don't halt them as often. Let's see what it does. Did it halt? Let's pull up the halt scanner. Let's pull this over and see if it halts. I don't see a halt yet, guys. Look at that. It's almost filling the gap up to that 111. All right, so at this point, it's got to hold $1. Close under $1, start to come under. It's bearish, but what do we see here? We see that it has a short watch. We see a bullish vertical trend. We see it's a cheapo. So we're assessing these conditions before we get in. So do I want to throw the kitchen sink at this trade? No, probably not. But that being said, confirmation, confirm that level, get in. Can add into this level or hold here. Target is 110, 111. And there's 110. We want 111. Now this is risky, guys. This is a risk it for the biscuit. 110, penny shy of the 111 so far. No halt yet. Don't see it halting. Not sure this one's going to halt. Cheapos, I'm not sure what the parameters are on that. Let me turn the halt scanner off, just getting in the way. All right, we've got it. Short watch, bullish vertical trend, testing our key level, 111. Good idea to lock in some profit if you're in this trade, right? But this is a pretty big move, up 16%. This is a bullish vertical trend. So we can see, needs to hold 98 cents and $1. Close below that, bearish. If I was in this position, guys, this is where my stop would be. I would not be messing around with this cheapo. I'd keep it real tight. There we go. Come below that, I'd bail. Maybe just around here. But I'm not in this trade, guys. No position for myself. Again, cheapos, just not for me. Cheapos with a cluster of resistance chart. Doesn't mean it won't get up there. Just not for me right now. There's your target. Look at that. Turn this off. And guess what we just did? Closed above our key level, held, and hit our target. Look at that, guys. Does it get any better than that? That's a systematic approach. That's it. That's a systematic approach. If you're in this trade, right, and you got in at the top of this candle, and you just sold there, that's 4 or 5%. 4 or 5%. Guys, if you got in and got yourself 4 or 5% in less than 2 minutes, cha-ching, take the money and run. You know, cue up the Steve Miller band here, guys. Take the money and run. What's wrong with that? There's a quick scalp. You don't have to sell the whole position either. That's what I do. I sell 50%, 75%, 90%. Hold yourself a lotto in case you feel it's going to continue. So if you really strongly feel like, no, this thing's going to $1.20, this thing's going to $1.26, well, that's great. Just hold yourself a lotto. But it already hit the target. So some traders just choose to take that full profit right there, get out green, lock in profit, walk away with 4 or 5% in less than 2 minutes. There is nothing wrong with that. And do we have volume, guys? Let's see if we've got enough volume and liquidity to really attempt that type of trade. White candle, white candle, white candle. This has 1 million shares. This has just under 1 million shares. This has 700,000 shares. If I'm trading 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 shares, do you think 1 million shares traded on a 1-minute candle is enough? I think so, right? I think so. So that is a beautiful move. So IMPL just closed above that key level as we went over earlier in this video here live today, and it closed over the level. Mention, set your alerts. Don't care about it till it goes up there. And guess what? IMPL, IMPL, IMPL. No BS alerts, just IMPL all over the scanner. Why? Because it's bullish momentum. And that's what we're looking for. So bearish Bill over on, what was it? AXLA. And Bullish Bob over here on IMPL. So you can see stop loss area. Looks like it's about to hit, but look at that. Is that not clean or what? Closed over, hit target, scale out, take profit, and protect yourself. Now, in the event that it goes against you, because this is a low float stock, we're showing a 8 million, 7.5 million share flow. This can be very dangerous. So be very careful. Stick to a systematic approach. Stick to a game plan. And the game plan here is mitigating risk, right? Avoiding major reds, avoiding those losses. Guys, who's in chat? Who's following along? Right, D? I'm telling you, you got to have it in this market because am I right in thinking that the market has, multiple personalities, itself, right? The market has multiple personalities itself. It's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold. Our job is not to really, mess with that and toy with that and try to, change that because we can't change that. Our job is to really, see that in plain sight in real time and make adjustments and really just ride the wave, right? We're just riding the wave. So, we've got to have that split personality. You don't want to go into it loving the stock. You don't want to have any emotions, guys. You just don't. You don't want to have those emotions. You want to be careful because emotions can just get you in trouble. Let me put this in the chats again. All right, got it in the chat. So let's take a look. Let's go over some scanners too. You guys want to take a look at some scanners, how to build some free scanners here? Brett, good to see you. Yes, exactly, Brett. Yep, exactly. Yep. Any level that gets tested multiple times, just, you can pretty much just take that level off your chart. If it gets testing, 5, 6, 7 times or more, just take it. You can just take it off your chart. At that point, it's no longer really a level that you want to, be putting much faith into for your trading. Karma, Lyra, you bet. Hang on, let me pull it off the screens. I'll make sure I've got it marked first. So Lyra. Let me take a look at what we got there. I'm gonna take off Hoth. I had Hoth on here. I don't think that one was going. Yeah, that one's got really low volume right now. We're talking a few specs on here. Let me see what I have for levels. Make sure that I'm still staying with the right levels. Yeah, that one needs to be adjusted. Yeah, I'll get this out in just a minute. Yeah, this one looks like it has very low volume, I would say. So I'm not sure about that. I really prefer that high volume because, like I said, if you're day trading, you got to have that high liquidity and high volume. And the reason for it really is because, like I said, you won't get filled on your orders. Really on the way out too. You can get filled maybe on the way in a little bit, but if you start dealing with heavy slippage on the way out, it's going to really, it's really going to bother you. But this is what I have for LYRA. The problem is when I pull this up, you can see these specs. Anytime you see these little specs here, that's telling me a story. It's telling me that it just doesn't have the volume for me to trade. So this one I probably would sit out from. You can see I don't have a single candle that's yellow or white, so no volume at all to trade. So just be very careful with something like that. 37 million share float. It's above the 25 million I like to see, but anything under 150 million is still low float, so still considered low float and tradable in my opinion. We're going to go over some scanners here, guys. We've got scanners on TradingView that's really, really handy. I mean, these are just free scans. If you've got TradingView, an account with TradingView, you get the access to their Pine editor and their stock screener as well. So we're going to make a quick scan here. Let's go and we'll reset all of, we'll keep some of these. So this is one of mine right now. This is one of my gap up ones. So let's look for value in the market right now. So let's see. Okay, we want to see stocks that have over 500,000 shares. We want to see stocks that, or let's see if we can do something here. Let's reset this. Let's go to volume. And let's go to, we'll set this to anything over 50,000 shares. So we'll just set it to a minimum of 50,000 shares. And then let's go to the float size because I trade low float stocks. If you don't trade low float stocks, you can manipulate this a little bit. I'll just change this to 0 and I'm going to change this to, let's say 50 million. So we'll say 50M for 50 million. So I think that's good. I don't think I want to add it. All right, well, let's do the price as well. So type in price. We'll do between, and let's do anything from, let's see, 60 cents up to $10, right? We'll just keep it short and sweet. So we can see we have 328 matches right now, and I'll show you how to mess with that a little bit. So 328 matches right now on this, just a quick, we'll name this as well. We'll call it volume now with BB, okay? So we'll save this just like that. And now we have, in here we have our saved scan. So really easy. So now, and if you don't have these bars up here, you can change it. You can just click on the little cog or three dots here and click whatever you want to be added to this list. So this is how I have mine set up. All right. So now we want to change the time interval. So I'm going to change this down to a 1 minute time interval. And then I'm going to hit this little icon up here next to this refresh. And we'll go to refresh every 10 seconds. So there we go. So now we just created a really quick and handy scanner that's going to follow and look for volume in the market. It's based on shares. So we're looking for 50,000 shares in the last 1 minute candle. And you can see this one doesn't seem to have that on it. IMPL is now on the list and AXLA. So if you're looking for, volume, liquidity, that's one way of doing it. Now let's go one further. And let's say, and I'm not sure why URGO or UGRO is on this list, to be honest. Let me see the volume. Oh, this candle's showing 236,000 shares. This candle before it has 395 shares. This candle has 236,000 shares. Can you imagine that? That's just, it looks like BS to me. So in a minute's time, this should probably come off of this scanner. But we can see that now we can run the scanner down below. We've got these this chart up here. So UGRO is the only thing that's on this list, which we know shouldn't be on this list. And now it just appeared on there, 500 shares. It should kick off this list in any second now. Let's refresh it. It should be gone. Or it could just stay there and we'll just be confused. So we're waiting for this thing to really give us something. There it goes off. So we're waiting for something to hit this for that liquidity. So if we're looking for volume, this is one way to find that volume. So there we go, IMPL and AXLA. So if you're looking for that volume, here's where some of that volume is. So we know we have now a volume scanner. If you take it one further, you can come in here. You can actually go to the filters. You can change, put change. So we want to see only stocks that have that volume, but it's also up in the last minute by, say, 0.25 at least, right? So we'll do it like that. We'll hit the X, and now we want to save this again. So go in here and save the screen, and we'll save it as volume now with BB. So just save it. So now this is basically looking for any stock that's from 60 cents to $10, from all the way up to 50 million share flow or less. It's showing us the volume is at least 50,000 shares in the last 1 minute candle, because we're on a 1 minute time interval. And we're looking for the change from open is not important. Neither is the relative volume or the volatility. So these are those filters if you guys want to copy those. Very simple scan, right? Very simple. And we can change this. We can say, okay, well, notify me if anything has 25,000 shares, a little bit less, right? So we can do that. We can, let's see if we can, let's see, symbol type. We'll do preferred stock, common stock, and we'll just do common. All right, well, trying to eliminate some of these alerts on here. I would just up the volume, but this one has 25,000 shares on it. You guys can see. So 25,000 right here. I'll up that up to 50,000. So really don't want to be notified unless we get something with 50,000 shares. As you can see, it's refreshing every 10 seconds or every refresh 1 minute. But if you want it fast, just every 10 seconds, or you just keep mashing the button, right? IMPL is the one. That's the one that has the possible volume. Technically speaking, right now it's not up. So maybe it was up there for just a minute. So a quick, easy way to do that. You can do that in Benzinga as well. So if you guys have Benzinga, let's open a fresh, let's see, a fresh one. Not sure. There we go. So this is all new. I have to get used to this actually myself. So let's go to the scanner. Great workspace. All right, there we go. Let's go into the price and volume. So we're going to basically just replicate the scan we just made. So custom, anywhere from 0.6, so 60 cents, up to $10. So we're keeping it just short and sweet. So let's go to the reference, and we'll go over, let's see, we're looking for float. Let's go to all and just type it in, make it easy on us. So we'll go to float. And here we go, share float. So custom up to, we'll do what, 50 million we said in the other scan, so 50M. And there we go, and we're kind of eliminating some of the results. Now we want to look for volume. Let's see if we can exit this little flow out. Volume. Let's see. I believe we have 1 minute volume. Let's type in volume up here. VOL, and we can see the volume 1 minute right here. Okay, that's what we want. So we want to see that it's over, let's say, custom has to have at least 50K, at least 50,000 shares traded, right? And look at it, eliminate all those results. That's, you know, it's that simple to create a scan that's going to work for you. This is just looking for raw volume, right? 1 minute volume on stocks that have, let's go to the active. Let's see what we have here. Let me eliminate this. And we can see that we have the share flow up to 50 million share float. 1 minute volume is 50,000 shares at least. And we've got the price. Now, let's go one further. Let's go to all again, and we'll type in change. And let's see if we can find 1 minute. I don't see it. So let's type in 1. There's the change for the 1 minute. So let's say we want to see it's up at least 0.25. Right, so we have to see it. We don't care for stocks that are moving down in the last minute. We want to see that's up in the last minute. So there you go. IMPL, ABOS. Those are our two stocks that are moving right now. If you want to add, I believe, do I have this right on here? Yeah. You should be able to add things here. Let's minimize this filters column. There's nothing that's meeting requirements as we speak. And I believe that's should be because there's just nothing. Yeah, there it is. So as there's nothing on here, it's just going to do that. So IMPL is on the list, right? So let's click on that. We're opening up a details page. Let's go to the chart. Let's make sure that we're on a 1 minute chart. So there we go. And zoom in, and guess what? It's the same as what we just had, right? So if I pull up the chart we're just looking at, it's the same thing. You're looking at the same thing I am. We just built the same scanner we have down here in here as well. So we can see WE and IMPL. Go to Trading View, IMPLWE. So, it doesn't matter where you build these scans, guys. You can build them anywhere, and it's going to be the same idea. We're looking for volume and liquidity, right? We're looking for volume in the market. If I click on this, it's going to populate on the right-hand side. That's what's great about Benzinga. You've got the chat on the left-hand side here. You've got call outs being made. You've got different things. You can open up signals, but you can see no results have been found. So if we see anything that has that volume, we're good to go. If I keep my mouse to the left-hand side or cursor to the left-hand side, you can see that the volume right here, this volume is changing. And that's the current candle that it's on. So right now it has 71,000 shares and is a red candle. So there's no results here. It has to be a green candle, right? It has to be a percentage up at least 0.25%, right? So that's pretty cool. That's one way to do it here in Benzinga. You can do the same thing over there. So if I click on weed, it's going to populate on the right-hand side. You can see a green candle. You can see in the top right-hand corner the volume. Had 102,000 shares. So for a split second there, it met requirements. And as you can see, it no longer does because the volume is not there. So as you can see, volume requirements have not been met. It's only 11,000 shares. You can see that at the top. As I scroll to the left, that's that last candle right here. 11,000 shares. Now approaching 12,000 shares. Has to get over 50,000 shares for it to meet these filters. So here's the filters that we have. Let me exit this out so you guys can see this easy. And so this is what I have here. So we've got the change 1 minute is at least 0.25% up, right? We've got the volume is at least 50,000 share volume. Let me get this out of here. We'll go to our active. There we go. That's what we have active. So 60 cents to $10, 50 million share float minimum, maximum. And we've got 0.25% at least in the last 1 minute. And we've got 50,000 shares at least in the last 1 minute. So it's that simple, guys. It's really cool. It's you can do that any way you want to do it. But again, it's going to be the same results. We can see down here, it just keeps giving us a heads up. It has to be a green candle. So right now, IMPL should possibly meet requirements. So if I keep mashing this button, you would think that it would be on that list, but it's not right now. So if you want fast results, then of course Benzinga is going to be a little bit faster, it seems, than this Trading View here. But just a quick, easy way to do that. So to go into the filters, this is the filters that I have set for that. So if you guys want to copy those, you're more than welcome to. Guys, who's in chat? We've been talking for a little while here. We had some stocks hitting the scanners. Let's see. We've got, let me get this out of the way. We've got IMPL making some noise. FFIE is the one most recent alerts on bullish momentum. So let's see. So FFIE. Let's take a look at it. So pull it up. FFIE. Let me just make sure that these levels are accurate. So I mark all the charts every day as I hit our scanners, and that's so I can get an edge in the market and stick to my strategy. Very systematic approach. It looks like the levels are accurate with this one, so I'm going to stick with this chart for now. Let's turn on the indicator and see if we have volume. Okay, we've got low volume. So we can see that really easily now. So when I turn on this indicator, I've got the BB volume indicator up here. It's a major red spotter, vertical trend spotter, and volume spotter all at the same time. So it's pretty cool. It's doing 4 jobs in one total, actually. And it does have alert functions on it as well. But what this is doing is letting me know and notifying me that these yellow candles are just not doing it for me. It's got low volume. So this is a risk it for the biscuit. So if you guys have that confirmation strategy guide, this is a risk it for the biscuit setup, which is a whole strategy, a whole chapter that we have in this guide that really goes over in detail what to do if you see something like this. You can trade this. This is still confirmation. It's just we are assessing the condition, and we're assessing how strong of a confirmation it is. We've got we hitting the scanners. I've got we on the scanners. We. Back to our French stock here, if you say it enough times. So again, guys, what's the problem with we? We went over this one earlier. Problem with we is if we zoom out, what do we have? Recent bags over here. 672 is the high. 668 is the key level. So technically speaking, we're not really in love with we until it gets over our key level. If we pull up the Discord, you guys have access to this. Key levels, guys. I set these every single day. I alert you guys on what they are from today. Let's see. Today was the 13th. Today's the 13th. We've got some from last night. Here's from here down really applies to all of these. So, or from here up, I guess. All of these apply to today's price action. We've got AXLA, WE, COSM, ASNS, FFIE. 438 was the level, so I'll take a look at that. But the level is 668. That's where I have my alert set for a key level and a key breakout. Until then, I'm not too concerned with the price action. I do anticipate that we'll have some choppy price action. I think we're going to have that because, again, we have those recent bags. We've got some buyers over here that are holding and saying, you know, they had to hold through this whole downward movement, and they have to now make a decision. Do I sell flat? Do I hold long? What do I do here? And a lot of them are going to create choppy price action, not clean moves. So we want to get to the new levels: $6.68, $7, $7.45, $8.11, $9.20, and of course, half and whole dollar between all of these levels, guys. Half and whole dollar, very important. Let's get a sip of our vitamin water here. I've got a snack with me too. I've got this Kind Bar, caramel apple cinnamon Kind Bar, guys. This is the bee's knees. If you haven't tried it yet, a Kind Bar caramel apple cinnamon. I think my wife ordered them on Amazon, to be honest, and man, they are the bee's knees. They are good. They're small though. It says thin. I don't know if she's trying to tell me something. Steven, I appreciate you joining. Yes, this will be recorded. Yes, this will be recorded so everyone can watch this afterwards as well. Yep. Definitely. So what do we have on FFIE? So our level is what, 438 we said? This was that key level down here, guys. So look at this. In the beginning move of the day, we reached up and guess what we hit? 438. Imagine that. So we had a key level at 438. It hits at 438, retraces back down. We look right. We closed above right here, closed below bearish, closed above, closed below bearish. But we have these low volume candles, which is going to set up those risk it for the biscuit. This is a risk it for the biscuit. That's a whole, strategy, a whole guide, a whole a chapter that we have that's dedicated for our complete low float trading guide. So, this is a risk it for the biscuit. We want to be very careful with something like this because it has that low volume. And so, if we're trading large size, 10, 20, 30,000 shares, well, if you're trading 10, 30,000 shares, well, guess what? This is a 44,000 share candle. You are the volume on that candle. So you want to be very careful because you can get caught. WE hitting the scanners, making noise, making a lot of noise here. WE. What are we looking for? We. Guys, just hanging out. Appreciate you joining today. This is Trader Talk. Appreciate everyone out there joining this session. Just going over some charts, going over some scans. We went over some scans. We pulled up some scanners and went over those as well. These scanners that we have on Trade Ideas, this is a little bit more in detailed with its filters and parameters. That's what I love about Trade Ideas. That's what I use for my scanning service. But that being said, if something goes wrong, then I don't have a problem using either this scanner here on TradingView or even the scanner on Benzinga that we just built as well. So we've got WE moving in the right direction here. It's moving up. What's it going to do? Had a big knife over here. Let's see what it does here. Testing of resistance. Close over that level is what we want to see, but keep in mind, this is not the bullish momentum confirmation we're looking for. That's a lot higher. Look, we've got FFIE and WE down here on the scanners. On the right-hand side, we can see that FFIE is just jamming right now, making some noise. So let's see what that one's doing. Looks like it's starting to take over in the volume a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, we're getting those white candles now. Look at this. Holding resistances at $5. It hit $4.98, 2 cents shy of the 5 if you're in. It's not a bad idea to lock in some of that profit. Above 5, we're looking at $5.12. Above $5.12, we've got $5.50, $0.50. And then 560, 605. Let me shrink this so we can see it. You guys can see on the bottom here, our only alert from that scanner we just built, let me save this, is from FFIE was the only alert that we have on here. So we can see it's giving us a little something in this market. And you can adjust these filters any way you prefer. These are the filters I have set on mine. Very simple scanner. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 filters on here. That's all we need. Don't need a whole bunch. Gives us a clear indication of where the value is in the market. Very simple. So stick to your strategy, guys. If you're not sticking to a strategy, you can get into a lot of trouble. You got to be careful. Taking a look here in chat. look like anyone is in anything right now. So FFIE, this is a risk it for the biscuit. Closed over the level down here, but it did it on low volume, 63,000 shares right there. Needs to hold that level, 471. That's our key level right there, guys, 471. If it closes below 471, that's it. Boom, we cut it, right? I'm not in this position. Just going to sit out for now. FFIE showing, let's see what it has for its float. 17 million share float, 6 million shares traded today. FFIE. Now, were we aware of FFIE, guys? Were we aware of this one? Let's take a look. If we go to the watch list, let's see if this one was on the watch list. I hope it was. Oh, it was. FFIE, it sure was. Awesome. So we knew about this one beforehand. We were aware of this one beforehand. We knew that we wanted to set alerts on this one. We knew we wanted to mark the chart and get it in here and be prepared and be ready, right? And because of that, we were prepared, we're ready. All we need to see then is that close over our key levels that we already predetermined, because of course all of these charts are added beforehand. If I go over to our Discord, FFIE updated, let's see what we have here. Chart was from yesterday at 8:30 p.m. Let's see the levels we have, guys. All right, 438's right there, 471, $5 organic, 512, 560, 605. So as you can see, I'm just not pulling these levels out of my butt, after the move happened. These levels are all predetermined. We have these levels in chat. We have them predetermined. And what we're doing is, again, assessing these gaps and saying, you know what? This gap from 438, yeah, it is a risk it for the biscuit. You're right. But is it worth my time? Well, it's a 7% move. Maybe it's worth my time. Maybe it's not. Maybe you feel there's going to be continuation. You definitely want to get in early, so maybe that's your entry. But if it goes below, you just don't want to hold on to it too long because it can get you in trouble. So IMPL now on the scanner down below. Pull it up. IMPL getting a little pop here. We can see that. And our scanner, very raw, simple scanner now identifying that value in the market. We built that in Benzinga. If I pull over our Benzinga scanner, same thing, right? IMPL, FFIE, AXLA. You get real-time scans like that. It's really cool. It really helps identify the value in the market, and it helps us be able to, move with where the market's shifting. Now, I will say that, again, just plain old volume, there's a big difference from plain old volume and bullish momentum. We look for bullish momentum. So as you can see on this scanner, you're not seeing a whole bunch of IMPL. We're starting to get some alerts on it now, but it's not really bullish momentum until it gets to that point. So what we're looking for is it to get back up to its resistance level, which we already predetermined was 111. So if we get to 111 and close over, that's what we want to see. But we will keep in mind this is not A plus because that red dotted line is a smaller time frame level, which is a smaller weighted resistance and will hold less weight. So it's one of those doors. But think about it. If you keep kicking a door and it breaks down, right? Think of these red dotted lines as like a bifold door, or like a one of those louver doors that you have on a closet, right? This is one of those just bifold doors. Kick that thing and see what happens. It's just going to bust right down. So we're not going to use that as a major support, but we will use it to scale out of our profit if we're in the profit, if we're in the green and in the trade already. So if I'm in the trade and I see that we're approaching one of these key levels, this red dotted, louver door, then boom, I'm going to go ahead and kick it down and sell into profit a little bit, lock myself some green on the trade, right? Makes sense? So guys, who's following along? Is anyone getting anything of value from this video here today? We're going over scanners. We're going over charts. We're going over how to mitigate risk, how to protect ourselves. Guys, this is day trading low float stocks. Not everyone is going to teach you how to do that, and that's the problem out there. There's a lot of information on how to day trade. There's a lot of information on how to trade, this, swing trade, this, that, and the other thing. But there's not a lot of good information on how to day trade low float stocks and how to, more importantly, save your butt from major losses, mitigate risk, protect yourself. That's what's more important than anything that I've ever discovered in my own, experience through trading. Is I want to make sure that I'm protected. I want to make sure that I'm mitigating risk. I'm not just throwing the kitchen sink at every one of these. That's the other thing, guys. If you're throwing, for an example, 5,000 shares, if your big orders 5,000 or 10, we'll just use 5,000 shares for an example. If your normal big order, your A plus setup is 5,000 shares, well, keep in mind that not every trade is going to be worthy of your full kitchen sink 5,000 share order. That's what I mean by that. So you have to assess each one of these trades and adjust your approach based on the conditions that you see. If you see these pink candles and a bunch of major reds, you see that the price is down below $1 and it's a cheapo, or it's down below 2 and it's a cheapo. You see that you have a cluster of resistance above. Well, these are red flags. This is how we assess these conditions and then mitigate our risk, because we then say, you know what? I don't think this setup here is worthy of my 5,000 share order. Maybe it's worthy of something less. Maybe it's worthy of me, doing a 2,500 share order, or 1,000 share order, or a 500 share, or even avoiding that trade altogether, right? So maybe it's just worth avoiding the trade altogether, because again, there's strict rules to the strategy, and if you don't stick to those rules, then you can get yourself into major trouble. So you want to be careful, right, guys? You want to be very careful. So I think that's really about it so far. I don't think we have a whole lot else moving. We've got WE, we've got this one moving, but you guys know how I feel about this one. Yes, it's moving. Yes, it's given some opportunity. Yes, it has some range, and in my opinion, yes, it's tradable. But right now, I'm not willing to take this higher risk with knowing that the key level is at 668, and at any given time, this one could have a pretty nasty knife. Right? So I want to be careful. Just want to be careful and protect myself, mitigate risk. I'm assessing the conditions and saying, you know what? I just don't think so right now. I think I'll look for a higher quality setup elsewhere. We've got FIE on the list as well. One to watch. I think FFIE is a really nice one, to be honest. I think this one's going to grind right into that target of $5 and $5.12. But that being said, just because I think it doesn't mean that I'm going to trade it. I don't trade my opinion. I trade what the chart gives me. So I stick to the systematic approach using this guide right here, and this is what I stick to. That's just it. There's nothing. It's how I found consistency, and it's how I'll continue to find consistency. So FFIE targets would be $5, which is already hit. 2 cents shy, 498 is the high. It's right there now. So again, not a bad idea to lock in some profit. Next target area would be 512. We'll watch this one here for a minute. Let's see where the halt levels are. Halt levels around 544 to the high side, 450 to the low side, and this will adjust as the price adjusts, as it's based off a formula here. Awesome, D. Appreciate it. So that would be the target here. 5, there's $5, right? 505 just hit. Take a sip. Let's get some water in here before I dry up like a prune. A dried prune. Yeah, so FFIE, the target would be $5. It hit that target. Now close over 5, needs to hold 5, right? So you guys, I'm sure, can see this. This is real time. This is a real-time chart right here. You can see these key levels above. Let me zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see, and I'll pull this over as well. So it needs to close over this red line right here. 512 is that red line. Needs to hold $5. Let's see what did it just do? 503. So it's above 503, above 5, excuse me. So it needs to hold 5. So close under $5 is bearish. Right now the target would be 512. So if you're in, you could scale out, take some profit at 512 from $5. Needs to hold $5. Close under 5. That's it. Boom. It's bearish, right? It's got to hold the key level. It's got to hold that mental whole dollar test right there, right? If it closes below, it's basically telling us a story saying, you know what? I'm feeling a little weak, feeling a little sick right now. I think maybe I'll try this $5 level later. We've got IMPL on the scanners. Let's see. Take a look at that one real quick. Zoom out. IMPL, yeah, it's got a ways to go to really deem as bullish momentum, but this one could get crazy. It's a cheapo here. The market loves these cheapos. We had kind of a slower day. We've got multiple charts up here. We've got bounce watch alerts on AXLA at 110 and 109 low. I'm not sure I'm willing to take that right now. We've had a lot of bounce watch alerts on this one. Let's see. IMPL is it's grinding slowly. Needs to get up there. This is the one I think to watch. The FFIE personally, it's got low volume, which is kind of the issue right now. But it's got some clean gaps. I don't mind the gaps at all in the chart. So if it continues, great. That's what we want to see. Close under 5 is bearish. We can see this candle closed. So if I expand this, you guys can see this candle here. If I turn this off, closed under $5. So if I put my cursor at 5. You can see right there is $5. So it needs to close over 5 and hold that level. That's just using a whole dollar test. Very, very simple strategy. Half and whole dollar. So $5 needs to hold, 512 target, 550 from there, 560 another key level we have above. So again, I'm not sure I'd buy around these, but definitely one to possibly look at. But guys, I appreciate your time. I think that's it for our Trader Talk today. We went over a few of these. We've got our gap up scanner. We've got WE, FFIE, CDXS, which is a higher float name here. We've got volume on these. Let's check out the volume scanner as well. So RCKT, FFIE, and CDXS. Those are our volume leaders right now. Anyways, I'm sure that changes. That changes every minute. So we'll see what the volume leaders are in just a little bit. But guys, I think that's it. I appreciate your time today. We had a nice Trader Talk session. We went over some charts, went over some scans. We built scanners in TradingView. We built scanners in Benzinga. Right now, let's see what they're giving us for results. No results over here. We've got AXLA, and Benzinga has AXLA as well. So we're getting the same results in both. So that's pretty cool. That's nice to see. So guys, FFIE, set your alerts. Needs to close over $5 and hold that level. Close back below. That's it. Boom. We get back out. That's just the way it is. If it can hold 5, targets would be 512, 550, 560, $6, 605, 631. I think you guys get the idea. We've got plenty of levels here to possibly trade. But guys, I appreciate your time. I hope everyone had a nice session here with us. I appreciate you guys throwing tickers in chat, and really just appreciate your support. If you guys found any value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others. My goal here is to help others the best I can. I got started. I didn't come from a financial type of background and stock background. That wasn't me. I'm very simple. I'm a simple man. So if I can help others, that is my goal here. So please, if you can, if you found any value, you think this is valuable for someone else, share it. Like it, share it, comment. I really appreciate it. Help the YouTube algorithm. So guys, I appreciate your time. I hope you all have a great day. I hope your trading goes well. I hope you make lots of money, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.